Hello everyone and welcome. So after I parked my car, I decided to walk alone around Santa Ana, California on my way to one of my favorite theaters there, the Frida Cinema. I went there last week to see the Babadook, and when I went there, they announced that they were going to play a brand new horror film, a vampire film, one of the first, and maybe even the first, horror vampire movie from Iran, and it was called A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. So I went tonight to go see the film. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't watch the trailer. I didn't see any interviews. I saw the poster, especially when I got there. But I didn't know anything about this movie. I just knew that it was from Iran and it involved a vampire and it was their first horror film ever. So that really intrigued me and really kept my interest and excitement to actually see this movie tonight. The film is in black and white. It played at the Frida Cinema, which I want to thank them for playing movies like this, and the Babadook. The Babadook is still there as I do this review. But again, I didn't know much about the movie. I want to thank the Frida Cinema, thefridacinema.org. You can check them out at their website. They just play a lot of weird, strange, unique films, some old movies, some new movies, and they're just a great theater, and I highly recommend when you're in Santa Ana to check them out. So tonight, with this new film, again, it's called A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. I can't really go into the plot of the movie because the plot, I don't know if it's really that important. I think what's really important about this movie is just the feeling you have while watching it, whether it's good or bad. It revolves around this small city called Bad City, where we get to know a few characters. One of them includes a young girl who walks home alone at night. She's a vampire. And this guy that kind of is intrigued by her. He's dealing with a lot of things in his life. His father is a drug addict and kind of abusive, and he's also dealing with this guy that's giving his father the drugs, and this guy's also a pimp that is kind of in this weird corrupt town. And one thing I noticed about this movie, there wasn't really a lot of cars. The only person that I recognized really had a car in this movie was the main guy character, who actually kind of befriends this vampire. I don't know if there's really a love story going on, but some people might say there might be a love story. This weird kind of friendship, this bond that is formed between these two characters. And they're the two most important characters in the entire film, the ones that we really get to know. But this movie really wasn't scary. I will say right now, it wasn't that scary, and I didn't expect it to be. I just figured I wanted something that would create atmosphere. To me, that's more important than actually being scared while watching a horror film. It's nice to be scared. It is important. I'd be curious to see what horror fans feel about this movie. I'm not a big horror junkie, but for me, I like atmosphere more than anything. And this movie created a really great atmosphere to it. It's creepy, it's slightly shocking. I like some of the practical effects. It's not a heavy special effects story, so I think most of the effects were done practically, and there's not a lot. Most of them do involve the vampire, and I don't know what I could compare this to. It definitely felt like early David Lynch with movies like Eraserhead and The Elephant Man. That's what I felt like the most. Though I think other film aficionados who know more about foreign language film, probably from the 60s and 50s, and maybe even beyond that, would definitely know where this filmmaker is trying to go. But I felt like her biggest inspiration, it's a female director, and this is her first film she's ever done. She's done some short films. I'd be really curious to see where she goes. But I feel like her biggest influence is David Lynch, especially early David Lynch, because that's how I felt while watching this movie. Now, I also want to mention that the soundtrack to the film uses a lot of source material that I've never heard this music before. Some of it looks like it's from the country of Iran, other feels like it's from other parts of the world, and I really like what it created as well. I like the vibe that it created, and if there was a soundtrack to own, I would definitely look for it and try and buy it. I really like the soundtrack. I like the way the movie looks. I'm glad it's done in black and white. If the film was done in color, it would have changed everything, especially how I feel about the movie. I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I did. I think the black and white really creates another level to the movie that was much needed. It just looks dark, dreary, depressing, and very interesting. Now, some might be bored by this movie because it moves at a very slow pace. The movie is about an hour and 45 minutes, and I would have shaved off about 15 minutes of it because there was a few moments of the film that dragged a lot, and I felt like they were really going nowhere or really fueling this weird story. I don't think this is one of the best vampire movies ever made, but it is one of the most unique ones ever made. And I admire that it is also one of the first ones ever made, especially from the country of Iran. I would hope we get more films like this that would even try and give us more character development, more story to it, even more violence. Now, this movie is not as violent as I would want it to be, or whatever, but I don't know. I wish it was a little more violence, more scary, a little more. I wish it was gross. I almost wish it was a little gross, just a little bit. It wasn't that gross. I would have liked some shock value to it, but overall, it's a very well-made film. It's intriguing. It might bore some people, but I'm really curious again what true horror fans think of this movie. I'm going to definitely go online and see if anybody else has seen this film. If you have seen this film, comment box below and let me know if you enjoyed this film or did you not. What other influences do you think this filmmaker has come from? I'd be really curious to create a dialogue about this movie. I don't know if anybody else has actually seen or heard about this film. I'm really glad I did. It's not for everyone, but I really enjoyed it. I would like, again, to see where this filmmaker goes, because I think she has a future ahead of her. And I'd like to see more films coming from Iran, whether they're dealing with horror, fantasy, drama, comedy, whatever. It would be really interesting to see more films come from that country. I like the film. I would recommend it, but not for everyone. It's definitely something different. And that's nice. I like to see something different. And for that, I'm going to give A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, I'm going to give it 3 stars out of 4. I'm MovieManCHAD. Please like, comment, subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Twitter, and I'm on Facebook, and please go to WeLiveFilm.com and subscribe right here on YouTube to We Live Film. Also go to Long Beach Acting and Film Association right here on Facebook and Twitter. Please also go to MoviePile.com, and if you've enjoyed this video review, please click right here, subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. If there's theaters like in your area, like the Frida Cinema, let me know. I'd be really curious to see if there's any more theaters that are non-profit organizations that just try and show art house films, small films, big films, and just try and appreciate the magic of the movies. Let me know in the comment box below if there's some theaters like that in your area. I'd really like to know and find out more about these kind of theaters, even if I don't even live by them. Just thankful to the internet, we can explore the world of cinema together. Alright everyone, have a great day, a wonderful night, and a wonderful life, and I'll talk to you in my next movie review. Bye everyone, peace be with you, my friends.